All right, have and have not fans. Hope everyone is doing well. Here's my episode review for Fine Together. I'm going to work to get this stuff up early. Doing a brief intro, so guys, you can just to let you know before I actually hop into the review. Number one, thanks so much for helping my videos do well. The 30 videos I posted in the past 24 hours. That's pretty much why I didn't watch the episode live. I felt so bad because I said last week I was going to watch episodes live tweet, then do a live stream, but I passed out at like 4:30 and I woke up at 9:50. I was like, holy crap. But you can imagine how exhausted I was after all the videos I edited yesterday and posted yesterday. And then when I recorded the two videos earlier today about the clip of Wyatt robbing Catherine's house and then the clip between Mama Rose and Catherine, I'm like, guys, I'm exhausted. I might be asleep when the episode airs, but here I am now. So that's why I decided to do my reviews early instead of waiting until like late to, Wednesday night. But I'm going to do my review now, trailer breakdown, some theory videos, and kudos to Tyler Perry for hitting billionaire status. To be completely honest, I thought he was already there, but now it's official. So kudos to him. Now, make sure you like the video. Let's go ahead and try to get to 250 likes on this video. Hit the subscribe button. We are closing in on 137,000 subscribers. We should be there pretty soon. And hit the bell icon and select all, but also allow for notifications. That way you know when I post content. And the numerous forms of social media I'm on, because people ask me all the time, all the links are below. Seriously, go down to that description box. There's a link for everything. So this video, let me put it this way. Did I really miss much? Because I remember there was a time where if I didn't watch an episode live, I had to avoid my inbox because of spoilers. And you know me, typically I don't care about spoilers, especially if I've already done theories prior to the episode. And if those theories turn out to be correct, I'm like, okay, then I'm in no rush to watch the episode because I'm already, correct. And I'll even say it in the review. I'm like, hey, this certain thing happened in the episode, but I'm really not going to stay on it for a while because guess what? I did a video prior to the episode going over that theory. And since my theory was right, then you already know what my thoughts are. But we only got 2 clips today, which weren't bad clips at all. But my inbox wasn't popping. It really was. I think not even Twitter. I didn't even see a lot. I think only one person was like, hey, you're going live. And then like a couple other people were liking tweets from last week, but I didn't see any new tweets in regards to tonight's episode. I know I tweeted about Sister Sister. I did watch a few episodes because they're on Netflix now. And I think my tweet was kind of just random, like, you know what? I forgot how in the 90s how common it was for people to just climb up to your bedroom window with a ladder or climb up a tree and nobody bats an eye. Go home, Roger. But I don't even know what to make of this episode, to be honest. I know this intro is kind of all over the place, but that's kind of how these episodes are. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I feel like that's been my impression of the first 3 episodes so far. Episodes 11, 12, and now 13. They aren't great episodes, but they have things in it that keep me intrigued, if that makes sense. I mean, once again, the main cast feels like the ensemble. They feel just like second. They're just like, they're basically the back stove caps, while the main, the B tier cast members are the front 2 stove caps. Like, they're just kind of there. So I don't even know what to score the episode. Okay, so Sandy's freaking out over, Uncle Vinny shooting Officer Morris directly in the head. And all the other Malones don't seem bothered by it, but Sandy is like, he's freaking out. He's like, hey, calm down, don't worry about it. And then Officer Miller shows up and is like, he has the gun ready to go, like, what's going on? I was, it's you guys. And then I'm thinking to myself, first of all, where the hell were all these other cops before? Like, there's damn near a dozen cops who just come out of the back. And it's like, are we right to assume that Officer Miller is like the only cop aware of the Malones and their little arrangement? Because Vinny was chewing out the 2 officers who were trying to help Miller because, number one, he's still breathing. okay, I'll let it slide because at first I know a lot of people were like, man, ain't no way. And man, I bet that dude's alive. I'm like, guys, he was shot directly in the head. There's no way he could be alive. But it does make sense because he literally just got shot. So it wasn't an instant kill. But at the same time, they did say that he is losing a pulse. So I don't know if, even if he does survive, the Malones will probably finish him off because obviously he's aware of who shot him. Okay, so the whole time, what's going on? I think one of the officers, they tell Miller to get the video surveillance footage, and then while this dude is bleeding out on the floor, I think he tells the other cops to get an ambulance or whatever. So Vinny is chewing them out, is like, my mother's back there, and I'm like, what? Because this scene proves that not all the cops are crooked. Not all the cops care about them alone, so to speak, because given the circumstances, they want to help their own guy who's literally dying. They don't give a damn about your mama in a cage, as he put it. So when it comes to the surveillance footage, it's good that they got Miller to do it because he'll know exactly what to cut and what not to cut, because Vinny literally said the dude shot himself. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The one Malone covered it with his hand, so I guess you could say that Miller probably will try to edit it out to show, man, the camera went out at such and such a time, because it actually would be quite clever if they did it that way, because Officer Morris was having a hard time dealing with the Malone. So maybe if the camera editing was cut right, they could probably say that, oh man, look at Miller right there. Look at Officer Morris right there. He was stressing out, so maybe he couldn't handle the pressure of, that a group of guys like that, chewing him out. So that's probably why he shot himself. But it just seems very unrealistic. I know this is a TV show. I know it isn't uncommon for Tyler Perry to do this in the writing, but that something like this happens later in the episode, but I'll get to that later. But basically, Vinny's like, fine, I'll give you a few minutes, but you better get my mama out there. And then, Sandy is like taken aback by this whole situation. He's like, oh my God, it looks like I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was going to pass out or vomit or something, because first of all, by the way he chews out Mitch all the time about not being part of the family and, kind of not really embracing the Malone life, I was shocked because I thought Sandy would have been on board with that, or he wouldn't have been fazed. Sure, you would flinch if somebody right beside you just pulled out a gun and shot someone like that, but at the same time, the other Malones were definitely unbothered. And to be honest, that was a really sloppy move by Vinny. I'm very interested to see, because this one brief scene has me intrigued for what Sandy's going to do next. How is he going to look at his family now? Again, I honestly thought he already knew what this life was about. So for him to actually respond the way he did to the shooting, I'm curious to what's going to go on now. Which begs the question, if Mitch were there instead of running the bar like Vinny made him do, how would Mitch have handled the situation? See what I mean? That's why they need a Mitch around to help them stay in line, keep their cool instead of doing something rash. All right, so then we go over to Rose talking with Catherine. Again, this was one of the best scenes because this confirms something I theorized a while ago. Catherine's father was known by Mama Rose, and apparently back in the day, Mama Rose's father and Catherine's father did a lot of business around town back in the day. I think that Rose said that he was in deep with my mother. Not like that. They did a lot of business together back in the day. So, because I was about to say, in deep, huh? So did they screw around? It wouldn't surprise me. Rose said she did gym, so who knows? But in any case, they quickly changed gears to how Rose is pissed off at Wyatt. And also, and again, the video I did earlier today about Catherine wages war with Mama Rose, I talked about it. This theory. Rose didn't know about the $50,000. Remember, Vinny was the one who told Mitch how much it would cost to make things good, $50,000. But then Catherine knew it was $75 because Jim was told by Mitch that it was $75. Of course, $25,000 of that was to save Vinny, but they didn't know about that yet. So basically, Mob Queen Rose wants $1 million. Catherine is like, nope. And she's like, you got 24 hours or Wyatt's dead. Because at this point, Catherine doesn't care, because she's like, fine, you something to my son, it'll be 3 for 1. So, and you don't forget what, I know what you did about Jennifer Salison's body, so I'm still pissed off at you about that, Rose. But then we kind of switch back to two things Mama Rose did that I really loved. Called out Catherine for the hair, about the hair dye. And remember back in season 1 when she was battling breast cancer, she said she would need a wig, but that never was brought up again. And first, I'm going to shoot your hairdresser. I'm like, damn, Rose. And then she calls out Catherine for, you know, you're a crappy parent when a freaking mobster calls you out for being a crappy parent. And to be honest, she isn't wrong. But I mean, Catherine is funny because she's like, oh, you're one to judge me. But she's a mob boss. So that's kind of what they do in regards to their own lifestyle. So she made a point. Look at all the, she honestly sounded like Celine, and basically more in tune to recent episodes Jimmy when he called out Wyatt. It's like, look, you have wealthy parents, all that money, all those opportunities, and you just squander it away. Rose wasn't wrong. So basically, I love how she's like, you know what, I like you, I just changed my mind, I like you, this is going to be fun. And look, I know I made the joke, we all made the joke about the whole recliner and how she looked like Roseanne, but she honestly, I actually, believe it or not, I actually went on online and I found a couple episodes of Roseanne, not the new one from the ABC series, the one that got canceled after her tweets, but I'm talking about the old school. I actually did watch Roseanne back in the day. Yeah, aside from black sitcoms, there was a lot of other white sitcoms I watched back in the day, like Happily Never After, Roseanne, Married with Children. Never really watched Seinfeld. I mean, I watched it, but not religiously. I've only watched 2 episodes of Friends in my entire life. And there were some other white shows too that are actually good. Of course, I prefer the black ones, but I'm not going to sit up here and act like there weren't good white sitcoms either back in the day. But in any case, yeah, she honestly does sound a lot like Roseanne too. Interesting. Okay, so then we go over to, remember what I said earlier in the video about how it's unrealistic, but at the same time it's ridiculous? Wyatt's calling for the nurse, and I was thinking the same nurse would come in from last week, because I'm thinking the whole time, first of all, did that police officer who was standing in front of Wyatt's room ever come back, or did he just say, I don't give a damn, I'm just going to drink this coffee, go outside for a smoke, this dude isn't going anywhere. So this nurse comes in here. Wyatt keeps going on and on about some pain. It's like, look, we already gave you med. Well, I need some more. When I tell you this woman did not give 2 Fs, he's like, hey, can you reach the bedpan? I need to go to the bathroom. It's right there where my wrist hurt. And then she hands him the cup or whatever. And it's like, can you hold it? This woman just tossed it, because when she bent over to, she stretched over to get the cup, Wyatt jacked her pen. And then when she got the cup, she just threw it at him and then walked it. Like, look, don't get me wrong. In every form of customer service, whether it be at a restaurant, whether it be a hotel employee, or in this case in the medical field, there are indeed people like this. But at the same time, I'm like, Tyler, are there really that many people in your writing who just don't give a flying F about their job or the people that they're supposed to take care of? I understand writing things for the sake of the plot, but that was just half-assed. I'm sorry, that really was. So, okay, it's one thing for that nurse to just not give a damn. I mean, but remember, this isn't that county hospital, the one that Benny was at after he got in the hit and run incident with Wyatt. And the nurses there didn't really give a crap. I mean, some did, some didn't. And remember, Candace chewed out the person at the desk a couple of times. That's why Catherine had Benny moved from the county hospital to, I believe it was Mercy Hospital, the hospital they're at now, because this is the upper scale, upper tier hospital for those who can afford it. So to have these half-assed, half-hearted employees doesn't make sense. But yes, I understand in any form of business this is bound to happen, but it just is kind of dumb. I don't know. Again, writing, but hey, Tyler's the billionaire, not me. But so in any case, Wyatt, this I tell you, a crackhead, they know how to get their way out of something. So basically, he takes the pen and, he unscrews it, gets the, everything he needs, and then breaks out of the handcuffs. Then this fool just escapes. Which, again, not only is the police officer who was supposed to be watching the door incompetent, he just let a prisoner escape. But where the hell are the hospital employees? Not to mention the nurse. Like, did Wyatt know exactly where to escape or, to avoid, walking past the front desk? It's like I said in the video about him, breaking into Catherine's house. So, like, did this fool escape the hospital and just run all the way back to Catherine's house? Tyler, come on now. This shit ain't making sense. I'm sorry to curse, but damn. All right. Let's see. Wyatt walks out, uses pen. Okay, so, and I'm thinking to myself, man, Kelly probably could have tried this trick. Oh, yeah, but wait, didn't she ask Lucian to undo the handcuffs for a little bit? And then when he went to get breakfast and came back, she was gone, but she was actually just in the bathroom, so she could have escaped. That would have been funny. If loving you is wrong, what can you do? All right. Well, then we go over to Madison's place. Justin's waiting outside, begging and pleading for him. I love how Madison's apartment number is 29, just because, number one, my birthday is on the 29th of August, and I turned 29, a couple days ago. So I thought that was just a funny thing to notice there. Basically, he's begging. Basically, he's being to Madison what he was to Jeffrey. Like, you were so nice to me. What you said made sense. I need you to help me. But the only interesting thing is that and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time Justin has ever admitted that he's gay. He said, I hate being gay, but at the same time, I can't believe he actually admitted to it. So believe it or not, that was a good character moment, but still annoying how he's just trying to get, Madison's attention. And then when he gets a phone call, who is it? Nigga, oh, I'm sorry. Damn, I ain't mean to say that. I'm sorry. Fool, that ain't none of your business. Well, I'm not mad if it's him, in reference to Jeffrey. And Madison's like, dude, get away from my apartment, go home, get some help, leave me alone. And then he goes inside. And we can be pretty clear that he's probably still waiting outside the door like a sick puppy. And I'm thinking to myself, I would call the cops at that point. But then again, with the half-assed cops and nurses, who knows? I don't know. I don't even know if they would even come in time. But anyway, so we go over to Wyatt, swooping. And I don't need to say much here because I've already done a video on the clip. But Wyatt kicks in the door. I'm thinking, well, then again, crackheads have a lot of energy. So Wyatt breaks in, the alarm goes off. He gets a phone call from security, and he tries to say, this is Jim Cryer. My wife must have changed the security code. And then he says like a bunch of random phrases like, I don't know, Amanda, kitchen. Look, I forgot what he said, but either way, they weren't the right codes. So in any case, okay, we got the police coming. Damn it. So this fool, I feel like we spent a bit too much time here. Like, did we really have to see Wyatt running upstairs, changing clothes? He went to Catherine's closet. He stole a bunch of jewelry, as I said in my video, and then he rushes out of the house, steals the car, and leaves. So basically, this dude escapes police custody, by leaving the hospital. And look, Wyatt broke the law, but at the same time, half-assed police officers, that's what you get. So he escapes police custody, breaking and entering, theft of the jewelry, and then grand theft auto, and then he's off to do, obviously, drugs. Great job, Wyatt. Great job. Okay, so then we go over to Jeffrey, because, yeah, Madison had called Jeffrey as soon as he got into his place, and he tells him about how Justin's here, because, Jeffrey's like, oh, yeah, I'm glad you made it home okay, and he's like, oh, yeah, Madison calls Jeffrey, and then Jeffrey's glad that Madison made it home okay, and Madison's like, Justin is here, did you let him in? No. And he's like, don't worry, I can take care of myself. It's like, wait, do you got a gun? No, I don't need a gun. And he's like, why? It's like, well, you know how he is. Yeah, he knocked me out. He destroyed my car. Remember that? He did that a couple seasons ago at the hospital. And so Madison knows to watch out for this fool. And I seriously would have called the cops. Like, no joke. I would have done, like, for real. Like, yeah. But in any case, Jeffrey's like, I'm coming over. And he's like, First of all, Jeffrey, sit your ass. If there was a theme for this entire episode, it's like, folks, keep your ass at home at night because y'all need to be going out like that, like for real. So basically, Jeffrey says he's coming over there just because he doesn't want Madison to be alone with Justin. Jeffrey only wants to go to fuel the drama. That's the only reason. Madison even calls him out for that, and it's like, no, I want to make sure you're okay. It's like, oh, you want to put me in some more positions? And it's like, I'll be over there soon. If I were Madison, I would have told Jeffrey to just stay away because all you're doing is causing more trouble. That's the only reason Jeffrey wants to take his ass down there. All right, so let's see here. Okay, Jeffrey goes downstairs. He's about to head over to Madison's. David's like, what's going on? But then he explains to Jeffrey the whole situation about Alyssa, who she is, the fact that she's outside waiting for him and wants to have sex. And Jeffrey's like, well, you're not going to do it, are you? Like, no, I don't want, no. And then, but I really want to get some information about Erica. And it's like, Dad, you got to let it go. I feel two ways about this. Jeffrey's being a good son, watching out for his dad like that. I appreciate it. But Jeffrey, at the same time, you are the last effing person to try to tell someone when to let something go. For real. Like, look at you and Justin. Just shut up. But at the same time, good looking out for your pops. So David before going out, he's like, wait, do you think I'm moving too fast with Madison? Like, no, that's not it. That's not it. So basically he walks him outside. Alyssa is not in the fountain anymore, but she's dressed again and not on the public property. And no offense to Leo, but I still don't know why he's the only guard there, because last time Veronica arranged something, it was like a group of thugs with guns. So like, for real, like, does he have like a rotating, he needs more than one person watching the front of the house. You need people like at all sides. Good Lord. But in any case, Jeffrey leaves because he was going to stay, but they was like, no, I got this. So then, basically Leo gives the information on Alyssa, who's just trying to like, oh, I dropped my purse, let me bend over and let me play over with my hair. And I'm thinking the whole time, damn it, David, if you won't, I will. So Leo tells David, yeah, she went to college, she was a strip to get through college and whatnot, prostitute, petty crimes and stuff like that. So basically curiosity killed the David, so to speak. He invites her in, even though Leo's like, wait, what? But he's already searched her, and this chick is like, oh yeah, I'm 28. I'm like, I'm 29. I mean, I was thinking to myself, well, I was 28 a few days ago, but I'm 29 now. Yeah, I'm stupid. But in any case, she's already been searched. She doesn't have anything on her. And then she's like, oh, no, don't go anywhere. Let's do it both at the same time, which I'm at what? Like, your whole thing was finding out how good David was based off what Erica told you. But now you're saying, oh, I want to find out because I taught her everything she knows. But I'm like, what? Because it's like, oh yeah, I want you because she told me about how good you take care of people and women and whatnot, the clothes, the car. And I'm thinking to myself, do you really not know what happened to Erica? This chick gonna wind up dead. So in any case, Leo goes outside and, David is like, put your clothes on. Let's go for a ride. Ooh, on the couch. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, Alyssa, you are standing. Yeah, you and David are standing in the living room. You're standing at the angle where straight ahead. Shouldn't you be questioning, hey, this is a nice house? Yes. In a very nice neighborhood? Yes. Why are all those bullet holes at the stairway and the wall? Do you want to find out? Yeah, I mean, why not question that? Okay. So they go off into the night. All right. So, I'm thinking to myself, is Leo not going to say, hey, David, are you sure you want to? I'm fine. All right. So they go off. I'm thinking, first of all, it's a good thing she didn't dance in that fountain. Like, I don't know what the weather was like, but I don't think in the fountain would have been that good of an idea. What if she caught cold? Secondly, these people are supposed to be living in a very high scale, high maintenance neighborhood. Shouldn't they be alarmed that there's a woman dancing in the fountain of a neighbor? Not to mention all the times, the car explosions, the gangsters coming in the middle of the night, the gunfire. And then on top of that, when Veronica set Erica and David's cars on fire, then the time Veronica came out there with a megaphone disturbing the peace. What kind of neighborhood? Whatever. Anyway, see, I'm trying to put reality into this show, and that's a mistake. All right, so okay, these next few parts, we're just going to breeze by them because nothing really happens. This just goes to once again show the main cast is an afterthought. Benny, Mitch, and Candace are all at Hannah's house, and Benny is off to go find Derek David, sorry. He's trying to figure out where Hannah is. And again, the dialogue here was just really bad. It was like, where's mommy at? I don't know. Is she mad? What'd they do to her? They just got her out of there, Benny. She needed to get out of there. Where's she at? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go look for Derek. No, stay here. Don't do it. Just, no, I'm going. So then Candace gives a brief exposition dump to Mitch about who Derek is. And, that's my father. They used to date recently, but then no, back in the day he assaulted her, and then that's how I'm here. And Mitch is like, no, you should let go Benny go kick his ass. Like, no, we don't need to do that. Then Hannah pulls up, and then Mitch wants to say, but Candace's like, nah, after everything that happened, you should just go. Okay, Hannah comes back. She's pissed off, even though it's like, Hannah, Candace saved your freaking life. Yeah, I understand you're mad about the whole Malik thing, but Milo saved your ass from them loans. Because again, Mama Rose is pissed off at Catherine, so yeah, she saved your damn life. Now, she won't even let Candace go into the house to get her things. I understand her. And then not to mention, a few minutes earlier, she got a message about how her flight was canceled. So, because remember, last week Landon put her on the no-fly list. So, basically, even if Candace got her passport and things, she couldn't have gone anywhere anyway. But Hannah won't even let Candace into the house to get her stuff so she can leave. So, Hannah, you literally said at the end of episode 10, Bananas Foster, you wanted Candace and Benny out of the house if they didn't get the money back. So now you're not even going to allow her to go in there to get her things so she can leave. You're just going to leave her out on the stoop. Okay, Hannah, because she gets a phone call from the police about the break-in at Catherine's house, and then she goes over there to help ID the person and, search and everything to see exactly what was taken. So that happens later on in the episode. All right, so after this, David shows up to Veronica's house right after Benny gets there, because remember, Benny goes to Veronica's house because that's where he went to after he said he was going to look for Derek to Mitch and Candace. He wants the address, as I predicted. Veronica just wants to have a good time first, and I'm thinking, damn, Veronica, are we about to have a P-Valley moment up here? It's like, she's missed you, and it's like, you're the best I ever had. I'm like, maybe I still think David was probably the best she's ever had, but Benny has probably been the best out of RK, Riddell, and whoever else the hell she's had sex with recently. But in any case, before anything pops off there, David shows up with Alyssa. Did she send you? No, I don't know who this little slut is. Get her out of here. And David just kind of showed up. Was like, oh, you still messing around with her? Man, if you don't get on somewhere. That's literally it. That's all David did. He's like, did you send her? No, I did not. Okay. He just leaves. And Alyssa's just standing around like, first of all, because I love how it's like, wait, so can I get a ride with you? No. I love how David just said no and left. And then she's all like, well, hey, he got can I get a 20 to get attacked? Like, what? First of all, girl, get out the lion's den. You heard about Veronica. Get the hell out. She literally killed your girl. So I'm thinking to myself, now, if the person who took me somewhere said, just kind of left me there and didn't, bring me back or whatever, you should have at least ran after David to get your shit out of the car. That's the thing. At the very least, you could have done that. But to actually just stand around like, what am I going to do? Okay, so then Benny is like, first of all, I thought she was going to do something to Alyssa on the spot, because not only did David come in and kill the vibe, but also Alyssa just like killed the mood. And it wasn't just me, or while Alyssa was standing there just baffled at everything and was trying to figure out what to do, didn't it look like Benny was trying to checking her out? If you go back and watch that scene, just look at his body language in his eyes. I think he was checking her out, but then leave it to Veronica. That's like, little girl, like, oh, she need a facial and a manicure, but I don't even think that would be enough. And then it's like, what kind of perfume is that? Is that what was that ass or what? No, get out of my house, little girl, get out of here. So then Benny leaves and she's begging him for a ride and everything. It's like, oh wait, you're looking for somebody? Look, you're Candace's brother, right? How do you know? I was one of her girls. She was my pimp. I know some people. I know Rog. Yeah, I looked at the credits. It was ROG. For a second there, I thought she said Rogers. I'm like, no, it's a girl. I'm like, is it one of those kind of girls? No, it was actually a female. So they briefly team up. They go down to some location. I think it's like a club or whatever. And she is in debt with Rog already. But basically, she asked if she knows anything about David. She's like, last time I knew anything about Derek, he lived on Kavir or some apartment. I forgot. It was a street name or whatever. Basically, it was a location, but not a specific location. But in any case, Benny and Alyssa have a brief moment because he actually gets a phone call from Mitch saying to come down to the bar. I got some information on Derek. And I'm thinking to myself, Benny, don't carry your ass down to that bar. But we know he is based on a trailer from it last week. So Alyssa and Benny have a brief moment. Alyssa's like, hey, can I go with you? I'm good company. And he rightfully calls out, you're a very pretty girl, but you're too thirsty. And take care of yourself. So he leaves. Nice moment, though, because honestly, again, P-Valley vibes, going to a club and whatnot. But in any case, let's see here. Officer Payne, I'm thinking, damn, are you related to Curtis Payne? He shows up to Jim's hospital room and he has footage of the robbery, and it's Wyatt. And an off-the-record comment, Jim is like, this is my son. But no, he actually like, do you have my son in custody, Wyatt Cryer? Yeah, he should be, which again, a half-assed, yeah, I think we do. And then when Jim is like, this is him right here, how did he escape? I don't know. Well, officer, you're in the same hospital. Wyatt might be on the same or different floor. Shouldn't you call someone? Shouldn't you check to see where Wyatt is? I mean, these people are ridiculous. Like, if he didn't know that Wyatt was in the hospital, that's understandable. But he could have at least made a call to dispatch, say, Wyatt Cryer. Yeah, he was brought to the hospital because he tried to cut himself. That would have been a great time for Jim to find out that Wyatt tried to take his life. And then, hey, what officer? I'm at the hospital right now with Jim Cryer. What floor is he on? Well, he's on this floor. And then he goes to check. And then he's like, and then he chews out the officer who was supposed to be watching Wyatt. That would have been a great moment because it would have made up for the stupidity of earlier in the episode when the officer wasn't there to stop Wyatt when he escaped, to show that there's at least some competent people on the force. Obviously, there are not. Okay, so then Jim is calling David like, hey, can you go over to the house? Wyatt broke in. Yeah, I don't know how he escaped police custody, but can you check to see the damage? And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, Jim, but the officer... Well, plus you said you pulled up an app on your phone because you have security footage at the house, so you know what. This is what makes these episodes so frustrating but intriguing. Like, there are moments where, okay, I'm interested to see where the story is going, but I'm seeing a lot of this makes no damn sense because you're contradicting yourself just to get the story moving, and that's what the biggest problem with these episodes are. Okay, let's see. I think I'm just about done here. Hannah Piss, Derek. Okay, so, here's another thing. Again, these officers. So, Hannah shows up at Catherine's house because, she said she was going to arrive. The officer's like, who are you? It's like, I'm Hannah Young, and I work for the Cryers, and I came over here because I got the call about the robbery. And I'm like, oh, okay, you got ID? Okay, fine, great, ID. I'm like, okay, that's competency right there. I understand. Then they're like, we have a suspect, and if you can identify him, you can just let us know if you know him. Okay, sure. Goes in the house, and it's Derek. 2 questions. First of all, number one, the one officer told Jim that they had a suspect who was white because Jim described RK, a little punk who worked at the hotel. And yeah, RK isn't coming back to my knowledge. Rome Flynn confirmed this last year, but that was when he was doing How to Get Away with Murder. And since that show got, I don't know if it was canceled, or I know it ended, but I don't know if it was because it was canceled or if it just ended, but he's no longer there. So Have and Have Nots, if they do a season 9, he could potentially show up, but for now, RK is gone. So the officer that talked to Jim said, oh, the suspect is white. So why would those 2 police officers tell Hannah to identify? Well, maybe because why are you there in the middle of the night? Was Derek there to rob the place? Again, that goes back to the video I did earlier about Derek being a con artist. Maybe he knew about nobody being at the Cryer house and with Catherine in jail and Hannah not there because it was the middle of the night. Jim in the hospital, Wyatt wherever. Maybe he was going to try to rob the place himself. Possibly. We know he doesn't get arrested based on the trailer for next week. But yeah, while this episode had a couple of interesting moments and character interactions, there were too many things that were either contrived, didn't make sense, or just stupid. So Fine Together wasn't that fine. It was interesting setup, like the bits where Sandy reacted to Vinny shooting the officer, to, you know, Catherine and Mama Rose going at it. The Veronica moment with Alyssa, I thought that was pretty. Like I said before, David has been a dick this entire season so far. Like, again, if you didn't want to give the girl a ride, that's one thing, but you could have at least given her a purse and phone back. That was effed up. I did like the Benny and Alyssa moment. That was pretty good too. Candace was just a lot of these main cast members are just wasted. Let me just glance over the notes again. I want to make sure I give this episode a proper score, but it wasn't that great. There were just way too much bad things about it. I'm going to give this episode, I know this seems low, all things considered, but I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 10. There were just way too many things, from the half-hearted, half-assed police officers and people at the hospital. There was too much of them. And the only reason I'm getting a 4.5, like I said, I like the moment with Sandy Malone recoiling after Vinny shot the guy. The Alyssa Benny moments, and I like the moment with Mama Rose and Catherine, and the Derek cliffhanger. I was like, and a couple other random and Justin admitting that he's gay. And aside from that, nah, that's pretty much it. So thanks so much for tuning into this lengthy review that was just about as long as the episode. And yeah, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on Cash App, PayPal, or you can join Patreon for as little as $1 a month.